So now it's finally here. We're making the carrot soap. I am excited about it. It is going to be a good time. We're doing a lather test. We are separating the carrot from the water. So we're actually going to be salting out all of the fun stuff, comparing it to spinach, showing the different amounts of like the actual plant matter that's in it, what those components are, what they're going to do in our soap, making the soap, testing the soap. It's going to be a good time. And I will tell you more about all of the good time that we're going to have with carrots in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff.
Just like the street lights
How's it going, Sudzers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for our carrot soap. It's finally happening. Very excited. And all the things that I just told you, that's what we're doing today. So we're going to talk about what these do in soap. We're going to do the pour. It is, I think, a sage leaf that I ended up scenting this with, and I put little bits of sage on top to remind me, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, we're going to talk about whether or not it's a good natural colorant. We are going to talk about this recipe and obviously do a lather test because I'm obsessed with lather tests. And so let's get to the making of the carrot soap, and we can do all of that, there. So finally on to the carrot soap, and we will be using the carrot juice in place of the water within the lye solution at 100% replacement of the water. And what are we looking at for the actual oils? We will be doing a 30% palm, 30% olive, 30% coconut, 10% apricot, and I will be infusing the carrots into the olive oil for this because that's what I originally did for the carrot infusion, and it did take forever. So it was around 3 weeks that I let it sit in its infusion, its oil infusion, before adding it to the oils that I used for the soap making. Now with this, I'm going to be juicing the carrots. I will not be using the actual pulp of the carrots, so the waste parts, for anything here. I showed you in a video, I think yesterday, where I was putting that into my food dehydrator, and interestingly, no one asked about the soaps that were also in that food dehydrator. That is a video that is going to be the longest thing that I've ever done ever. And I've talked to the Sudsers about it. Super excited. But yeah, we're dehydrating soaps for tests because why not? But I am putting the pulp into the food dehydrator, or I did rather, and I will be using that in a cosmetic coming up and just using the carrot juice itself. Carrot juice is about 85% water, and so the remainder of that is going to be around 10% carbohydrates. So what does that mean? That's sugars for the most part, and so we are going to be expecting a big bubble out of this. In addition to the water and the carbohydrates, we have about 1% proteins, which actually should survive, and a fraction of a percent of fats. Very, very low fat. Now, the remainder of that is going to be your vitamins. So we have vitamins A, C, K, and then your B vitamins within carrots. All really good things topically, but what actually survives saponification? We will definitely be talking more about that. As far as minerals go, we have potassium, calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, sodium, and iron in all trace amounts within all of this. Potassium being the highest, and we have talked about what the minerals do within our soaps, and I was originally concerned with the sea moss soap that we could be potentially forming soap scum within our soaps because some of my sea moss soaps were really ugly. They looked very unhealthy. And I, after doing a test and doing all the things, have determined that that is not the case for this. And so we should not be expecting that within our carrot soaps as well. And again, trace amounts, so shouldn't super have to worry about it. And in addition to that, other components we have it's antioxidant rich with beta carotene and whatnot. And yeah, so carrot juice overall tastes delightful. Have you guys ever drank carrot juice just straight without mixing it into smoothies and whatnot? It's a very lovely taste for sure. I love it. I was a little bit bummed that I had to use all of that for this soap batch because it was just hanging out there looking all gorgeous and tempting, but that's okay. I did want to take some of this and salt it out. Now, what I mean by salting out, I did talk about it in yesterday's video as well. In this case, you know, just when we're in chemistry labs, we've really like just adding sodium hydroxide to stuff and then adding, you know, an acid to stuff to get that process right there, where you are looking at the amount of solids that ultimately exist in a solution. And with that, there's a fair amount of solids, and that does help me figure out what it is that we're working with within the lye solution and by extension within the soap. Like, what is it going to do within the soap? Is it going to provide a benefit? Is it going to hurt my overall, lye solution and make it so I need to add more light or less light or whatever? In this particular instance, these amounts of solids, nothing untoward is going to happen to the lye solution. And realistically, what we should be looking at for the overall performance of the bar is going to be an increased lather because, you know, all of the sugars. Okay, now on to the make, and I am using a sage leaf to scent this. The sage leaf is a delightful scent from Sierra Candles. It is very green, a little bit dirty. Love it a lot. I am obsessed. It's a very perfect scent to be putting into my summer line, so I'm excited that I get to do that. I'm currently incorporating the kaolin clay into the oils here that has the 30% olive oil that has been actually infused with the carrots for a few weeks. And as you can see, this is the lye solution, but as you saw within the oils, there wasn't a lot of actual like orange tone to it. And so I was kind of bummed by that because we definitely got some beautiful green tones within the spinach after an infusion. So that's kind of unfortunate. Now, this lye solution, you can see all of the solids that did essentially separate from the water in the carrots after we put the lye into the waters, into the carrot juice. And that's really what we want to focus on. Also, look how gorgeous that those oils are. It's so beautiful. Such a gorgeous orange. I really wish it would have been this at the end, but spoiler, it's kind of not. But all of the extra solids, what are we looking at within all of that? And what does that do when it interacts with sodium hydroxide, right? Because we're not adding the juice at trace, which means sodium hydroxide is, well, it could react. It is reacting with all of the solids in the carrot juice while it's, you know, in an unstable state with the water that also exists within the carrots. Oh, I'm also adding carrot powder within all of this that was store-bought because you could just store-buy it. You don't have to dehydrate it. But anyway, so what are we looking at? Vitamin K. Vitamin K will interact with sodium hydroxide because it's a fat-soluble vitamin. And so essentially that does not survive saponification. Vitamin C. We've talked about vitamin C before when we were doing the orange juice soaps. So that definitely will not survive saponification because it does have a chemical breakdown, much like citric acid. The ascorbic acid does much the same, but at a much, lighter level within a soap. So it could be a slight water softener, I suppose, to prevent hard water, but not going to be nearly as effective as citric acid. And what else? So beta carotene, vitamin A, also a fat soluble drug or vitamin, and so that will also undergo saponification, and which means that the vitamin A realistically is not surviving at all within the soap solution. And if it is, it's probably surviving in a more simplified version of itself. So breaking down into more simple compounds. And oh, what else? Potassium. We've talked about potassium in previous videos. We've also talked about the phosphorus in previous videos. Biotin. We have not talked about biotin before. So biotin, when it interacts, so that's going to be your B's. When it interacts with sodium hydroxide, it does undergo hydrolysis, which means that it is breaking down into its simpler components. And so it's not in its purest form, in its form as biotin, it's not going to survive saponification, but as a B vitamin with all of the, topical benefits, yeah, that does survive. It's a very, there's not enough to make a difference though when we're talking about soap, you know what I mean? And so realistically, with everything that's in the actual carrot juice, because again, 85% water and 10% of those solids are your sugars, we're not going to be looking at any real skin benefits that come from this. We will talk about the all of the skin benefits of carrot when we do the cosmetic, because that's where carrot is really, really going to shine. As far as this goes, though, it is a beautiful soap. That orange is a gorgeous color. I put lemongrass on the top. I couldn't remember if I was going to do sage leaf or lemongrass, and I got really confused with the tomato soap versus the carrot soap because I was making them all same day. And I think I put sage leaf on top of the tomato soap to distinguish it, but I don't think I scented it as sage. It became a whole thing. But anyway, this is a beautiful texture of the overall soap batter. So lovely to work with. I definitely could have done some swirls and some really fun stuff with this, but I made it all a solid color because I'm kind of going for simplicity with this, but definitely a long working time with carrot juice as the water in the lye solution. Now let's C-pop this and cut and test it.
Can't make a stop, can't turn back now.
Okay, so this has been C-popped and gelled, and as you can see, it's not nearly as dark orange as it was before, which is a bummer. I'm super sad about that, but it's okay. It's still an orange soap. It still gets the job done. We understand it. It does get a little confusing, of course, when we look at this with the tomato. I had one heck of a time doing all of the photography for my website for all of this because I just for the life of me could not remember after I had taken the pictures if this was the tomato or the carrot because it looks more like the tomato than the tomato did. But since we're just working with the natural colorants to see what they do, it really does give you a really nice guideline for what you can do with your soaps so you don't have to experience this. Or with the tomatoes, the tomato. And so now you know you need to add more colors for red because the red is not going to survive in the tomato soap nearly as well as I wanted it to. And with this, if you really wanted to drive the point home and make sure it's, orange, then yeah, I would go ahead and add some orange toned clays or other dry ingredients. Or you could maybe you could add a little bit of madder to really kind of deepen it up, or obviously micas. So you could do that as well. But overall, it's a gorgeous bar. It's already so smooth and shiny. The hand feel is absolutely delightful. It's not as great as the banana. I'm obsessed with the banana though. I don't think I'm going to find anything that is just so as satisfying as the banana as soon as you take it out of the mold because it yields such a beautiful loaf of soap. It's so shiny. It has such a good slip and hand feel to it without even using it as soap. It just feels lovely in the hand. This, not as, but it's pretty good. And overall, obviously, don't see any problems with any of it whatsoever. Loads of problems with my cutting skills, of course. Everything's crooked. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a secondary and a tertiary, actually, to that camera set up right now recording different angles because I have this idea that sometime I'm going to start doing shorts, and so I record all of that and then I do nothing with it because it'd be busy around here and it's just a thing. Oh gosh, speaking of busy and all the things, I hope some of you are not busy today and you're actually taking time off for Juneteenth because it's Juneteenth, and so I hope some of you are able to take a break and actually experience our newest federal holiday, which is very cool. I got the kids home from school. They're not in school today, and they still have 2 more days of school left in the school year, but they don't have school today because of the holiday. And I don't even know if I'm going to bother sending them back. You know what I mean? Because why? They want to be there because they want to get their yearbook signed for the end of year. But yeah, yesterday we had kidlet number 1. She graduated 5th grade, and that was like the worst. I mean, the best. It was awesome, obviously, but it's crazy. She's been with all these kids for 6 years, watching them all grow up together, become lifelong friends, become sworn enemies, become all of the things. It's wild. And now they're all heading to, middle school. And I'm just really glad I have the kid that I have, and so I don't have to worry about any of the middle school, woes with the girl. But, that's me saying that now, and you guys can laugh at me in a couple of years when her personality does a complete 180. I don't see it happening. She's not that kind of kid, and that's not our kind of relationship. Anyway, let's test this overall lather of this soap. Now, I did do this lather test fresh, and so I did not allow this to cure at all. The overall, what it ultimately settled down to, and as far as lather goes, once it cured out, I think I put in the thumbnail for all of this. And so you can see that. You can also go see it on the website. Yeah, see, this is just showing you. This is how the difference is in orange, because it's kind of hard, you know. So there it is. There was a very orange from the sea moss and less orange. And look, it's a Gatorade lid. Yeah, see? See? Less orange. All the things. But anyway, so yeah, you can check out the lather on the website for what it ultimately settled down into, and what it settled down into was gorgeous, so beautiful. As far as cure time goes, I didn't notice any extension with the cure time for sure. And see right off the bat, look at that. I get a lather immediately. I love a big lather payoff right away. I don't like having to work the bar to get the lather because that's just me. And it's just beautiful. It definitely just dripping through the hands. Like, I was just like the same thing with the orange soap and, well, the banana soap. I just wanted to continue playing with it. I do notice that there is some orange lather. Do you see that? There's a little bit of orange. There's orange tint to the lather there. So while that color didn't end up being super dark within the finished product, it did definitely have a lather transfer. Are we worried about that? No. I mean, we're not worried about that. It's not going to stain anything. It's just carrots and very, very small amount. So I wouldn't worry about that staining a washcloth, but it does give a difference. And yeah, no, overall, I think carrot is a great thing to incorporate. It's super cheap. It's super easy to incorporate it. Great label appeal. Lovely big bubble. I really do enjoy this. And obviously, I enjoy it in cosmetics a whole lot, so I will be talking about that within our cosmetic series. But for now, there is your carrot soap, freshly tested, less than 24 hours old. Those soaps are so simple, but they're so bright and beautiful, and they make me so happy, for sure. And that sage leaf scent, very green, very, very in the garden, working with your hands, almost a little bit dirty. Love it. Very, very delightful scent. Pairs really delightful with carrot. It's absolutely great. I'm a little bit bummed that the carrot color, while it did show up, it looks more like the tomato soap was supposed to than the tomato. So that's kind of a bummer. I wanted it to be a brighter orange, and obviously I wanted the tomato to remain red, but we did talk about why the tomato wasn't going to remain red and all the jazz within the tomato soap. Now we're at the carrot, and it's a big confusion in my mind. And so if I mix them up at any point, I'm sorry. I hope you know what I mean, but the title's there, and so I hope you know that I'm talking about the carrot. Anyway, overall, I think it's a really cool thing to incorporate into your soap. You're definitely going to be getting a good sugar boost for sure, and it's just so bright and fun. And what is not to love about a carrot soap as far as label appeal? I think that's a really good idea. I am excited to be putting this into my line, and that will be happening in a couple weeks when we launch all of the summer soaps. And so look forward at soapandclay.com. But yeah, if you guys make carrot soaps, let me know. That would be really cool. We are not done with carrots. We're not done with any of these things. We're going to be doing spinach, carrot, tomato, rhubarb, banana, I think, orange again, in cosmetics. So that's what we're going to be focusing on probably the week after next. I think this upcoming week is going to be the Project Soapway winners for the first round of our Project Soapway challenges, which is going to be soap. And so first up, Project Soapway winners, congratulations. You guys are awesome. Second up, all of the sudsers that participated or are there and cheer on all the people that do participate in Project Soapway. You're awesome. Love all of you so very much. Thank you for being here and all of the things. But second up, for all of you who are not sudsers, or you're not membered sudsers, you're not in the Discord and you don't know anything about Project Soapway, subscribe. Hi, welcome. Where have you been? Hang out. Because Project Soapway's dope. They all came up with some really amazing soaps that I get to showcase and I get to brag about them. So I'm very, very excited for that. I'm out of here. I will see you guys all again for another round of weird fruits and vegetable stuff things that we put in soap. Soapy fun. Bye.